Welcome, ladies and gentlemen. We're going to talk about the Hollywood strikes, new movies, Barbie. We got a TV show, Black Mirror, and what astrological placements are really working in this Hollywood industry space. Okay, we have a couple things going on. Let me pull back up my little chart. We have Neptune, which is actually trining the sun. So the Sun Trine Neptune, the sun is in Cancer, Neptune is in Pisces. Neptune is Hollywood. Okay, this is the space of acting. This is the space of um, we're looking right now to actually get behind the layers of what our individuation says and what our heart says at a heart level around one, different fears, some being irrational fears, which also always a part of Neptune slash Pluto type energy. And Pluto is involved because remember, his main aspect is about the sun opposite Pluto. The sun is in Cancer, Pluto is in Capricorn, and it's already retrograded in Capricorn, meaning we've been here before, and we're looking to finish up a story within this big career space, this occupation space, our vocations, and really making sure that we do jobs that really matter to the heart space, something that really supports this version and level of individuation, which the sun is always about. But there's these power controls where we're gaining power, we're losing power, and the strikes are essentially happening. Now, part of this is because Virgo, which is the workforce, is in Mars. Mars is in Virgo at 6 degrees currently right now. Again, another degree of Virgo, right? Where we're starting to really hermit and really take time to really think about, what are my special abilities? Let's just say in this instance, as an actor, what are my special abilities that I can bring that AI cannot? Because Mars is in the space where it's opposite um, Saturn. Saturn is also retrograde. So we've been here again with our authorities, the authorities over our acting abilities, our performance, our ability to mutate and move beyond the boundaries, but also put enough structure in the boundaries while other structures are decaying, which is gate 60 in human design, aka Pluto and Capricorn. Structures are dissolving. We're meeting certain limitations and we're finding the watery way to essentially kind of flow between those cracks and crevices, being authority. As for the future of the artistic industries that we're going through. So before I go any further, hit the like and the thumbs up button, ladies and gentlemen. If you already really enjoyed this so far, in the comments while you're watching this, if you're watching this on replay, thank you. You really are always the majority of people watching. And those of you that are watching this live on Premiere, how I run these on Premieres, thank you as well, because you're the initial spark. You're that Aryan head pushing through, creating the engagement that makes other people even find the video on recommendation. So thank you all. This is your astral shaman, Pernell Bobby. We are generating an economy of harmony, leveraging human design and genetic astrology. And today we're doing it to talk about the sun opposite Pluto. Okay, this creates the fear of becoming invisible, right? Pluto is where it's very, very far away. It's very, very cold. It's very, very isolated. And part of its rejection is, the fact that it really matters. It's one of the planets that packs the biggest punch, right? When something implodes in Pluto, it's done. It's forever. We all have to notice it. But there's all that time in between where Pluto doesn't get noticed. It doesn't, no one feels its subtle impacts unless, your eighth house stelliums and, your Pisces, your Scorpio, you feel the energies that are subtle. Maybe Cancer, and this is what's magical because Cancer can see behind the scenes into private spaces that don't theoretically want to be seen. So the sun in Cancer, the sun is bringing light on what has remained a secret, okay? A secret to our literal mission, what makes us feel like individuals. And it's like part of that is the heart space. When you look at a sun Pluto opposition, the sun being in Cancer, Pluto being in Capricorn retrograde, you're looking at a black hole in the center of the heart being Cancer, or even sun in Leo. Cancer is the feminine heart, Leo is the masculine heart. The feminine heart is like, look, I gotta love myself because I see the future of the industry as we go Pluto into Aquarius about how AI, and this is where Black Mirror came in with that last episode, where it's like Joanne is awful, or Joan is awful, and Joan was assimilation within assimilation, right? And you got this Selma Hayek who is the star. She's thinking she's the star, and she sold the rights to her face, okay, to be used in this movie. And then this movie, she essentially felt powerless because she signed the clause in their agreements, contracts. This is Saturn, Okay, this is Saturn in Pisces, where the contracts we're signing, we're not really orientated in the mental space. Pisces is not a mentally orientated sign. It is not the sign you want to be signing contracts. Okay, it's literally 77, 80 years old, and it's losing and it's stepping more towards dementia. So it's like part of this is what allows actors to be actors, because they can step outside of their body, they can mutate like a mutable water, and they can become this role. They can become this monologue that they've been given by a superior power. Now, the reason why this is about superior power in the workforce is Mars is opposite Saturn. Mars-Saturn aspects really suffer, especially when it comes to sexual and creative energy. Okay, especially even in Virgo, which loves sex but needs to really slowly work its way into feeling not just necessarily safe, but feeling the sensations, because work and diligence with co-workers, peers, and learning and practicing their craft to improve their artistry, let's say in the space of Hollywood, they spend so much time and energy on it that they often suffer in their sexual relationships at home. And so it's like that puts a strain, for step one, on what the industry and the authorities in this industry of artistry, let's say actors, between this Black Mirror show, HollyWood, people going on strike. I'm seeing like 17 shows crash down. You might see that right there. I see 17 shows crash down in New York City, between Hollywood and New York. And it's like, what's happening is people are realizing that their sexual energy is being manipulated in a way where they're not actually, they're not honoring what's special about themselves anymore. And the thing is, with this hermit energy, this 6th degree, this is hermit energy. In the tarot, this is hermit energy, where it's like we're now sitting in with ourselves and realizing, what do I need to feel aroused with my craft, with what I've studied, what I've practiced, and why does it take me, you know, 17 years to become this good as an actor, and now the AI is coming in very quickly, which can simulate and bring up an entire show with these quantum computers that essentially is completely out of control, where you're now able to emulate my life that I took all these years to practice. In 15 seconds, you can real time push out a new Netflix series. You can real time push out a new movie that we no longer have these production costs, and we don't have all this overhead and all this oversight. And the oversight is becoming a computer or a single group of a 1%, which now makes these movies and the actors who were part of it in fear. And this is, again, Pluto coming. This is the fear. Now, Pluto can represent easily our irrational fears, and simultaneously, Piscean energy can represent our irrational fears. But at the same time, it does represent really true and accurate fears. And this true, accurate fear is that the father in the industry of Hollywood, which is, let's say, the father right now, is in control of our heart space and putting us into a space where we feel like we're now useless. We feel like, well, what am I going to do? Like, I dedicated my life to this. I dedicated my life to this, and I did this for so long. Mars opposite Saturn, I'm not even seeing the results. The results are literally invisible. I'm not getting the compensation. I'm not getting the recognition. Okay. I'm not getting the praise. I'm not even going to be remembered. In fact, some AI is going to literally even look like me, and somewhere along the way, I was delusional about these contracts that I was signing, and I signed my whole life away. I signed my character, I signed my face, I signed my body movements that's about to now be emulated by AI. So this is becoming a very serious trend where the first time writers and producers have always, okay, writers, producers, writers, let's say writers, Virgo, Mars and Virgo, the action we're taking, okay, with our creative energy to produce a skit, a show, a movie that gets animated with this Piscean energy, all right, and Neptune energy. It gets animated, all right, or even the sun bringing life, bringing vitality, bringing what should be a personal sense of satisfaction and joy. But what's happening is these actors and these writers and these producers and the people in the Hollywood industry, they're now understanding that they signed their lives away. And they're trying to figure out a way to, in a sense, take that back. And now what's happening, writers and producers have always done this, but actors have never stood behind them. And as long as you have the actors, Hollywood crashes. But Hollywood is like, look, we're not using all these billions and trillions of dollars we made in the industry. We're using our power, we're using our authority, we're using our status, because now you may be the actor, but I'm Marvel. You may be the actor, but I'm Lucasfilms of Star Wars. You may be the actor, but I'm, okay, name the next big production industry. They now have all the power and the control, and they say, look, we have enough data where we don't need you as physical workers anymore. And now the actors have officially combined with the producers and the writers, which they should have done a long time ago if they were being humanitarians. Okay, but they weren't being humanitarians. Everybody's being selfish, and all this stuff is starting to come out. All that selfishness is starting to come out, and we're now starting to look with this North Node in Aries. We're like, I'm going this way. Right now, we're in this grand chasm of complete space and void, and we don't know what the hell's going to happen next. So I'm going to go ahead and secure my own survival. So some people will join together in that securing of the survival. Some people will decide to individuate, and again, you know, I talked about this recently with the live with Hannah. Some of that individuation will essentially create another cell group of all these other individuals who will begin their own production companies. They'll separate and they'll look to do it, you know, in the way they see fit. But it's a scary time because the reality is we don't know. We don't know. But what is coming up is all of the corruption in the Hollywood industry, in the movie industry. Okay, the new movie Barbie coming out. Oppenheimer, you got Black Mirror explaining some of this. You got Netflix independent in their own ways that are bringing these documentaries out. It's a very scary time. Now, the nice thing we have going on is the trine between the Sun and the Neptune, which has that essentially we will have to go through a war on our performance, a war on our artistic talent and creativity, and the mission that we have as individuals and how we want to shine that light with a certain sense of vitality. We're going to face a war, and there will be a battle in this space, but that essentially boundaries that are pre-existing in all of these industries that I said with all this oversight, they will find a way to dissolve, and people will find a way to continue to be the beautiful artists that they are. It will find a way, but there will be some war. There will be some unknown. There will be some fear, and within the fear, we're going to look through this lens of fear of what about my job? What about me coming invisible and losing all my power? And also this consequence at a psychological level, realizing, God damn, I gave my power away. Like I did this, and now I am responsible for taking it back in whatever way I see fit. So everybody that's out there who's an actor, who's an artist, who's in theater, who does poetry, who does slam, you know, whatever you do, right? Musicals. It's time to truly be an individual, to band together with other individuals who make sense and work against the corruption, and find a way to enrich each other and stop avoiding you know, what your senses are trying to tell you, and move beyond the five senses and start inviting the subtle senses that are 60 plus and millions plus of senses that says, okay, here's what I'm feeling here. Okay, behind the scenes, this same vacuum in my heart space that was a black hole that was sucking everything negative into me, I simultaneously, because I'm a black hole, I sucked in the light. I sucked in the brightness of what it means to really and truly follow my heart, okay, in an innocent manner, and truly innovate and put this new seed of an idea out there. Use this pent up rage and anger and collective sexual energy that has been repressed by this Mars opposition to Saturn. I'm going to use this energy to bring something that's absolutely unfathomable to the artistic space. Okay, and we're going to work against this AI theme, and we're not going to go invisible, and we're going to band together. We're going to tear down this corruption, and ultimately we're going to bring harmony, because we're going to slowly, step by step, make this gap of fear that we see through the lens of literally fear, and we're going to start to see it through that light, that black hole of light that we sucked in our heart space. And now we're going to say, this is what passion does, and we're going to witness that gate 60 human design, that if we approach this with a certain sense of realism, ultimately we're going to find a divine peace and a divine justice. But we have to realize that we have to work within the limitations. We have to work within the clause. The clause that I signed my life away for, I did what I did. I now have to work within that space. And just like Joan is awful in the show on Netflix, she worked within that space. She worked with Selma, and then Selma was like, Selma had the power to walk into the studio, and then, you know, now she snuck in the lady. This is some of the hidden doors, the hidden private spaces of the sun. We're now bringing another individual in, And we'll walk into these private spaces and we're essentially tearing down the system within our own personal rights where, yes, we may go to jail. Yes, we may be punished, but we will not be invisible. We will be forever remembered as that person, that band of people who took down that system. And ultimately, at the end, what did she do? She did what she wanted to originally do. She left this corporate job and the, civil or space engineering, and she would open up a coffee shop. And she had an ankle wrist. So this is again Saturn. This is the restraint, the constriction. She was confined to a certain form of control within her environment. She had an ankle bracelet on her wrist, but at the end of the day, she made friends with other people who stood together, and they were that unit. They found the equilibrium between their situations where one was highly fortunate, famous actor, another was just some random ass corporate lady, and they found the similarities, and they eventually met that space of equilibrium, and they brought a sense of harmony. Even within her restraints, she now was doing something that was more pure to her heart space, and she opened up Jones Coffee. You feel me? So hit the thumbs up and the likes button. Come to our retreat with Eileen, the Mexican Bruja, and myself. I feel like we just freaking nailed it. I love when God tells me to come and say a message because they're flowing lately. So drop the film, okay? A film, a camera, something related with acting, the two mask face, any kind of dramatic acting emoji. Drop it down below to let us know that you're here, to let us know that you support and stand by artists, support and stand by actors, people in the Hollywood industry. There's a lot of fake stuff happening with that, and that's kind of why they're in this situation in the first place. But within that, at the end of the day, they started with some, sense of purity. It's the city of, fallen angels. They started as angels, okay, and they fell to whatever vices they fell to. And I've been to LA. That's an area, man. I don't understand it. I can't be there, but drop some emojis down below, hit the thumbs up, join our retreat, check out the applications. Very soon I'm going to talk to the person. We're going to be booking up 3 rooms. So again, there's going to be 10 total, but we're booking them as the things are coming in. We're booking up 3 rooms. So hint, 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 if you're thinking about coming to retreat and you didn't get your application in, get your application in to the Sacred Innovators retreat, because 3 rooms are already getting booked up. So I got to have that talk soon. So thank y'all. I appreciate you for being here. I really enjoyed this segment. All right. Check out that Black Mirror episode, Joan is Awful, if you didn't see it yet, and you're going to get a very clear insight of everything I'm saying and how the astrology supports it. Thumbs up, baby. Subscribe.